Hello, everybody, and welcome to Graded Point 5. I am on location today at Disney headquarters when they're seeing the reviews of Captain Marvel, and oh my god!
God damn it.
The whole place is on fire! They don't know what to do! You're okay there?
Woo, it's funnier on this screen than I thought it was going to be.
I thought, all right. Guys, it's all over. Disney's done. Yeah, I broke. Yellow Lantern says I broke Piper.
And what is this? We're at Disney headquarters, you said?
Yeah, this is Disney headquarters. Like, this is me and you watching down here on the screen.
Yeah.
We're just like, holy shit. We just came for a fucking interview.
Woo.
Press F for the MCU. Yeah. That's pretty much it, man.
Woo. Oh, man. Just wait till we hear all the casualties at the theaters this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I guess we'll start with this. And because of this, Disney has gone through going to do some deep rethinking of a lot of their major franchises to try to stem the tide after this debacle that's coming up. So just to show you the the redesign for Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, guys, they're rebooting everything.
Yeah.
Or redoing everything in that CGI guy.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the reaction to
I do like the Captain Marvel killed Piper. but look how much power she had to have to do it.
Yep. Kill it with fire. This is he was on the other week, but our friend Shamil, I think he did this made this redesign. It's kind of based on the Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, it's pretty much Sonic turned into
Mickey Mouse. Yeah, but I thought it was funny. I said,
yeah.
But as an entertainer, I can work that into a bit, you know. So
yeah. Well, I mean, they're doing it with all their stuff. Eventually, they're gonna run out of stuff. They're gonna have to go back to the classics and redo them with CGI. So.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is like
also I had to get super nerfed for Captain Marvel to get me. So
yeah, and also on top of the fact that we're back live showing Disney headquarters burning to the ground because the reviews are not what they were expecting it to be, and as you can see, it's just all over. You could throw that $150 million possibility, weekend box office out the window now.
Yeah, do you got shots of the? Did you collect any shots of the actual reviews?
Oh yeah, I got plenty of stuff.
Especially the women's. Mary Sue said women.
Oh yeah. So let's let's get right down to it. We'll start with Bounding into Comics article, which by the way is already kind of outdated because things have changed since then. So we got here Captain Marvel's Rotten Tomato critic score revealed. I like how she's doing the hang loose sign. I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to say anything. I can make comments, but I'm not. Okay. Yeah. Critic score for Captain Marvel are coming in, and the tomato meter has the film sitting at 89% currently after 78 reviews. It's gone down since then. Just letting everybody know. There are... Oh, God. Hold on. Let me get rid of Justice League. Look, guys. Okay. Guys who run Bounding into Comics, if you ever hear this, I love you guys. You got good content. But please get rid of this.
Seriously, guys. It's fucking Justice League. Like...
That's been... We're almost a year out, over a year away from that now. We don't need...
Yeah. I think we good, man. We good. Yeah, it's at 83%.
Yeah.
Now.
There are 70 fresh reviews and 8 rotten reviews. There are more rotten reviews now. And when you say fresh, that is being very generous. Very generous with calling them fresh. Here's what some of the fresh are saying. David Sims of The Atlantic writes, more of a solid building block for future endeavors than a must-see solo adventure. Now remember, that's a fresh. Just, keeping that real. That's a fresh. Ann Cohen of Refinery 29 has high praise. Larson carries a difficult role with a grin and swagger, much like Tom Cruise in Top Gun. I wonder if there's a volleyball scene in Captain Marvel. You think there's a volleyball scene in Captain Marvel? Probably not, because that would require her to take off some of her clothes. So.
Yeah, and then what's she gonna do about butt pads?
Yeah, you can't hide a flat ass in a bikini. John Campea states, an important Marvel movie that connects a lot of dots that the MCU has generated over 20 plus films. None of the top tier MCU films, but a solid and entertaining one nonetheless. That's basically saying what you're going to notice about a lot of these reviews is that they don't want to say it's bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they don't want to lose all of their integrity.
As if they
had
any. They still had.
Yeah.
Still had. Cute.
My Donato writes, for We Got This Covered, Captain Marvel is a recorded mixtape of familiar MCU beats that sets Carol Danvers up for success, but as a period standalone, struggles to be anything we haven't seen yet from superhero cinema. Brian Lowry of CNN writes, Captain Marvel ultimately feels more obligatory than inspired, a movie that basically gets the job done and little more. Grace Randolph from Beyond the Trailer states, when she's not trying and failing to do a Robert Downey Jr. impression, Brie Larson's Captain Marvel is a hero who doesn't hesitate, which is pretty darn cool. At least they're giving Brie some props, unlike the other reviews that the initial Twitter stuff that we were seeing.
The initial ones.
Doug Jameson of the Jam Report states, with an endearing heart that it's impossible to resist and a glorious leading lady steering the ship, Captain Marvel is an imperfect but supremely entertaining blast. I'm going to tell you in a minute why some of these reviews, they're trying not to sound bad. So, and here is a look at the rotten reviews. Now this one, the New York Post one, is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
So the positive reviews are trying really hard to
spin it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Johnny Oleksinski of the New York Post writes, the character, even when kicking ass, is a total bore.
No shit. You can tell that from the fucking trailers. Are you surprised?
Lindsay Barr for the Associated Press writes, the first female-led movie of the MCU deserved more. Todd McCarthy of the Hollywood Reporter says, the picture is not dull exactly, just mundane. Mark, what, dude, do you know what dull and mundane?
There's somebody that actually needs a thesaurus.
Yeah. Marked by an unimaginative plotting, cut-rate villains, a bland visual style, and a lack of elan in every department. What is elan? Elon Musk?
I have no fucking idea.
Joshua Rothkopf with Time Out writes, scenes between Fury and Larson's Carol Danvers, rediscovering her human past, are oddly inert, and the film's much vaunted feminism, promised in months of run-up and advertising interviews, gets short shrift. Now they're complaining it's not feminist enough.
So it's lacking in everything, including that bullshit.
Yeah. Let's see what the chat's saying.
Really? I thought the whole no doubt's just a girl would nail it.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like I just, when I heard that, I was like, that sounds so cringy.
Yeah.
Like, oh god. Let's see.
Dude, I fucking loved No Doubt back in the 90s, so. But still.
Failure Be Winning says, it's not dull, it's just mundane. It's the movie reviewer equivalent of, I'm not fat, just chunky.
Yeah.
Rick Harmon, it's Rotten Tomatoes.
Not even I'm big boned. That's just.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna get some. I gotta regather my screenshots. I'm gonna show Rotten Tomatoes site and all, but there's some funny shit that I noticed, and I'm like, really? So you're gonna see some things pop up on the screen, but I'm gonna go through them in a certain order. So open.
I wasn't though, because I also liked shit like 9 Inch Nails and shit. So I just had really weird musical tastes, I think.
So what you're saying
I always have.
You're a weirdo.
Yeah. I didn't like Hollaback Girl. Yeah, the shit is bananas. I think the music itself was just addicting. Like, I didn't even care about the lyrics. I just thought it was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, I apologize, guys. I'm boomerang right now because I'm doing things I should have done before we got started, but I forgot about the screenshots. But I had them. I just forgot to put them on screen. You know, have them ready for the screen. So my B, y'all, my B. Yeah. So did I get the? Yeah, I got those. All right. Starting. Like I said, I'm going to show Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic in a second. But starting from this one, this is the one from CNN. Captain Marvel ultimately feels more obligatory and inspired in a movie that's basically gets the job done and little more. Now, that's supposed to be that's supposed to be fresh.
That's a fresh fucking review is saying that it's stale as fuck. Like, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, okay. Xavier's going to jump in. We're going to have another guest come in, too, as soon as they get home from work. So we got that. So let's look at this one. This is Grace Randolph. A lot of people have made fun of this one. This is the one where it was, it says trying and failing to do a Robert Downey Jr. impression. Like somebody said, Robert Downey Jr. was in a movie where he played an Australian who played a black man.
Yeah.
And so you're telling me that what Brie Larson was trying to do was pretend to be Tony Stark, and she couldn't even do that. See, what I'm seeing is like trying to compare amazing actor to And Xavier has joined us. Hello, Xavier. How are you tonight? I'm glad you made it. I know we sent you in to get the interview at Disney. I'm glad you made it out before it burned to the ground.
Yeah, sorry. We were standing outside.
Hold
get in there to help you.
Things are screwed up.
So
must have been the fire.
Well, he didn't expect Mickey to just like immediately start like Molotoving everything in the office. I mean. He's not really playing with our bit here.
Yeah. God damn it.
What's going on, big guy?
Just I wanted to go left, and Discord said nah.
Oh, okay. Are you here now? Are you good?
I am here.
Okay. So yeah, I'm sorry. Like I said, we sent you in for the interview to interview Disney personnel, and apparently Mickey. As soon as you walked in, Mickey started flinging Molotov cocktails, saying "It's all over. It's all over."
Bad day.
Yeah. So, let's see here. What else we got? Funny stuff. Oh, here's my favorite one. Oh, so Sean Mulvihill of FanboyNation.com. Apparently, Piper used to do work for this people.
I used to write for them and review shit for them.
Here's what's funny. This is a fresh score. Brie Larson delivers a performance of depth and nuance that will stand as one of the best in the superhero genre. 3.5 out of 5.
I love it. I can't wait for the sequel. 2 out of 5.
So that's
2 out of 5.
So
right.
They literally are saying this is one of the best examples of a superhero movie. 3.5.
3.5.
That's like negging. That's some like pickup artistry shit.
That's kind of what we've been saying.
I don't write for them no more. The owner is a bit cray.
Say, I bet the written review is the cover so people can't be mad at them, and then they put how they really feel in the score.
Yeah. And like this one, Captain Marvel flies high and fast, but struggles with narrative turbulence. I see what they did there. They're, doing, because of planes, flying.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Carol Danvers was a pilot, but yeah.
Yeah. Piloty shit.
Yeah. Also B-. Now a 3.5. Okay, if we could say 1 is an F, right? In their way to review things. They
essentially they gave it a C and said that a C was the best of all time.
This C movie is the best example of a superhero.
The 3 out of 5. I think the way they do my performance reviews at my job. 3 is you've met expectation. Like, but that's good because we have high expectations. What you're doing. 4 is you've exceeded our expectations. 5, which almost nobody gets, is oh my god, you're amazing. Let me suck your dick. Yeah, but that you'll notice nobody ever gets 5. Nobody's ever dick suckingly good.
I like that. Yellow Lantern 12 says greatest movie of all time, 70%.
I'd like to let you know that Billy scored highest in the entire class. Everyone give him a round of applause. Woo!
What was Billy's score? Well, we grade on a curve. And,
well, we grade on a curve and an average. Billy C+ actually brought the entire class up. This is getting worse the farther we go.
Yeah. Goddamn.
And this is the AV Club, which is a rotten score. Everything.
Being honest.
Yeah, everything you might expect a sci-fi superhero movie to be, if you hadn't seen one in a long time.
If you hadn't seen one in a long time.
Holy shit!
Wow. Filmed by numbers.
And he still gave it a C, though. Still gave it an average score, which I found funny. Is like a C, where one place is basically And honestly, I think the chat pointed out these aggregates, they weight some people's review scores. They'll rate some people's reviews higher than others, and that's why the aggregate can get thrown off.
Yeah.
Hey Piper, you don't like glitter? You don't like glitter?
That's why I'm asking, like, where that came from. The crafts. Okay, he just regular ass glitter. No, I love glitter because it's so fucking evil, dude.
You like ass glitter? Is that like the new thing? The new boob glitter was a thing for a while.
Yeah, no, I miss I noticed that some places are trying to bring it back. In the 90s, like, there was glitter spray, glitter all sorts of shit, to glitter gels to just wipe glitter all over yourself and your hair and shit.
Yep.
And it's like coming back right now, and I'm pretty hyped.
Well, boob glitter's been a thing for a while.
Well, yeah.
I didn't understand it myself, but then again, I never dated anybody that did it.
Yeah, no, I don't think it ever really, really went away. But now it's like, exactly, dude. Glitter pisses people off so fucking bad. I love it. That's why I like glitter.
Now here's a shill. Here's a what I would call a shill review. And remember, a lot of these are just blurbs from reviews, right? Just FYI, these are just blurbs that we found from reviews. Matt Goldberg from The Collider. While the film suffers from bland direction and convoluted script, Brie Larson's brash performance makes Captain Marvel a worthy addition to the MCU.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Wait.
An original score was a B-, apparently. And this is some blurbs from different articles. This one says, I spent over 2 hours with Captain Marvel / Carol Danvers, and I still have no idea what her personality is.
Her personality is resting bitch face.
Sure, there's a lot more going on in Captain Marvel, but it's a pretty egregious failing considering that the creative bigwigs at Marvel's had 10 years and 20 films to work it out. It's hard to say whether there's a flaw in Brie Larson's performance or a failure of the script, but I came out of the film from writers / directors Anna Bodden and Ryan Fleck not caring at all that much about her beyond her dazzling powers, which might mean for the next Avenger film, which is perhaps the lamest way of all to experience these movies.
Yeah.
It's pretty accurate. I think it's both Brie Larson's performance and a failure of the script.
Well, the problem is she already went in there flat out saying, basically, I have no intention of emoting. I'm a woman. Mm-hmm. I'm like, and saying you didn't make the guy smile, and I'm like, okay, well, the guys emoted, and yeah, they smiled plenty.
We talked about this. We talked about this the other night. I don't know if I don't think we talked about it here, but we did talk about it because me and Xavier had a conversation about it. You know why we want heroes to smile? Because we want to know it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Xavier made a good point, using a manga / anime reference with All Might.
Yeah.
He's always smiling because he's the guy that you're like, if he's smiling, then things are going to be okay.
Yeah.
Superman smiles a lot. Not to say he's not taking it seriously. He's there to reassure the people, saying, "Don't worry, I got this."
Exactly.
What I'm hearing is nobody got the impression that Carol, quote, has this.
Yeah.
Nobody's sure what Carol had. Just all of a sudden she punches an old lady, and well, it's a good thing that old lady was a Skrull.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? She punched an old lady so hard she's a fucking alien mutant now. What happened here?
I have to say something in regards to something going on in chat, because this friggin' picture that was in our general chat of the fucking the nasty dirty toenails.
Oh.
That Shim posted. I thought that was some sort of joke that I wasn't getting, and it looks like it wasn't a joke. That's really
Oh yeah, her feet are nasty.
What the fuck? Okay, I make fun of my own feet, but like if I'm gonna do anything, if I'm gonna wear open-toed shoes, for one, I clean my fucking toenails. Goddamn. And for two, if I'm going to have open-toed shoes on, then I'm going to get a pedicure or something. And also, should have a butt ton of money. There's no excuse. What the fuck?
Never wear open-toe shoes if you have nasty-looking feet, right?
Like, I got ballet feet, so they're not pretty. But I can go and get them done to where they look presentable. You know what I mean? Like, I tried.
I've told you, if you want to make some money, post your feet.
Right?
They don't care how bad it looks. They're the people buy that shit.
we only know one foot fetishist, and I don't know if he's that rich.
See, I only know one foot fetishist, and he said ballerina feet are fugly and, like, gross. He likes pretty feet.
There's a reason I was going, feet.
He's holding out for a certain Japanese housewife.
Oh.
Gamers.
Yeah, I'll send him my feet. See if
it's send him your feet. And say, hey, big guy, what do you think of these?
Right?
Yeah, people
also
know,
on
the chat knows who we're talking about.
Yeah, it took me a second, and then I was like, oh yeah, because I keep trying to forget them. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people I keep trying to forget, but There is one more thing, though, I do have to say on the weird glitter conversation that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Something me and my mom do to each other. We send each other cards for holidays, and we try to stuff as much bullshit, confetti, and glitter and shit in them as we can to see who can fuck each other over more.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. The doctor says, I'm here. We're glad you're here. I know you said you were watching the hockey, but I have made it special to tag you into the post. Yeah, the hockey, the sports, the sports balls. Rampager Ren says, send me your lose pipe, not feet. Boobs and butts.
How much money you got?
Boobs and butts, greater than toenails.
I think so to me too.
Let's see here. I had something else.
I just shared an important image. I think you should put it on screen.
Okay.
Pop it up in the chat anytime now.
Okay. Ha! Guys, we have a picture of Piper's feet.
What?
And 9-volt already has them. Oh damn! I said his name.
Oh, that's not nice at all.
Here's a picture of.
That's mean. That's not nice.
Well, you said they were, fugly and.
Not as fugly as Breeze though. So apparently, I'm doing pretty fucking good.
I don't see how posting.
I'm getting a new report. These might be Breeze feet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Well, no, because look at the toenails. They're actually done.
Oh well, that's true too.
At least one is.
I'm not a feet person. I'm a boob ass man.
Now I want to draw this boob ass man.
I'll put money down.
20, 40, 60. Yeah, Xavier, I think you came up with a new bit for us now. Well, just anytime there's like something interesting, something we want, it's like 20, 40, 60.
Yeah. I'm just going to start laying bills out. You just tell me when to stop.
Yep.
Leave me enough to get home.
It's a crime to wear red nail polish on your feet if you're a whammon. And white. I don't care, just no claw toenails.
No, I don't. I only do that to my fingernails. I've considered it, though. I've thought about it, and I'm like, no, I like my sock.
Somebody said, I don't see how posting feet photos is a fetish. Didn't that start in Japan? Like the whole feet thing?
You sure?
Because I know they want, like, some people, like, back in the day, they, like, wanted their, geishas to have little tiny feet, and so they would actually
I think it was China.
It might have been China. But, they wanted them to bind their feet up and shit, and made them, like, really small and cute. But
I think China started the foot binding.
Yeah.
And, they only recently made that illegal, like, in this past some odd years.
Yeah, because it mutilates your feet.
Yeah, it's just that they let it go on for a long time. Foot binding, look it up. It's pretty awful.
Yeah.
Imagine putting your feet into a vice and, like, really turning that sumbitch and leaving it on for a couple years.
Yeah, it's basically like what ballerinas have to do to their feet times 11. Hello.
Hey. That's something for Crystal walking in. It's like, why are we talking about feet?
Oh, no. Hey, Crystal.
Oh, no, dude.
Ballerinas have to mutilate their feet, and it's kind of a similar practice to foot binding, but
like
not nearly
Asian
as bad.
countries?
Yeah.
We're talking about foot binding.
We were talking. It started because we talking about Brie Larson's ugly feet, and
oh, dude, those are
they're
what's
nasty,
up
right?
with that?
I thought that was fake because I was like, nobody would red carpet
Dude,
thing.
and then she just wore it like, what was it, to like a red carpet?
Yeah.
And it's not the first time either. I found a kind of a unfortunate history of her wearing open-toed shoes with those nasty looking feet.
Dude, yeah.
It's just it looks like she doesn't even wash them.
Dude,
Either
she
has a-
probably doesn't.
She either has a very high opinion of herself, or she has a lot of bad friends.
We taught her wrong as a joke.
Oh no.
Do you think you should?
it doesn't look like her feet have been washed in a while. I don't know how she washed the rest of herself without managing to get water on her feet, but that's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And her toenails, it's like they got dirt under them and they're all like jagged and fucking weird. God damn it.
Yeah.
I thought, like I said, I thought my feet were bad, but I'm doing really good.
Okay, let's put a quick pause on the feet and reintroduce everybody. In case you do not know, this is the author of The Good Night Nightmare Realm, the very talented Crystal McGee. How are you this evening?
Hey guys, what's up?
Fully funded.
Fully funded.
I know, man.
Fully funded.
It's
getting
crazy.
Getting hoodies.
Yeah.
I joked. I don't know if you saw it when you were on Jean-Luc's stream.
Got the hoodie.
You were on Jean-Luc's stream the other day. I said I tried to tag him and say, ask Crystal to put pants as the 20K stretch goal.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah, foot binding didn't begin to actually die out until the 20th century. We
were trying to come up with the what were the what do you call it? The origins of foot fetish came from.
Oh yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I kind of thought maybe it came from foot binding because that's how, because that was the whole thing. They wanted their, little tiny women with little tiny feet. And so they bound their feet so they'd have tiny feet.
But they never wanted to see those feet after they were bound. So I don't know if that's technically foot fetish.
What's that?
How did that come into play? Because I don't know.
But weirdo foreigners, I don't know. I don't know.
I knew it had to. They had to appear tiny while wearing shoes, because some people went as far as to actually amputate whole chunks of foot.
Mm-hmm. It was very.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
It was a very barbaric practice, to be quite honest.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, let's not talk about feet anymore. Let's talk about something that's funny, and that's
I found something funny. I gotta show you.
All right, we'll put it
First
in the chat.
time I've seen it. I am.
Put it in the chat.
Her feet is in the chat. Here we go.
This is a very what the okay.
This would have been good for yesterday.
It works for today too. We're gonna put that in here.
Lawrence Lupin, as the great Fuhrer Lupin of Lupania, I proclaim we make Brie Larson's feet a hate crime. Yay or nay?
It might work. She's white, so.
Oh yeah, this goes back to when we found out that Captain Marvel's the only movie playing in certain theaters. Yeah, can't see another movie if there's no other movies to choose from.
Apparently, it's any theaters under Cinemark.
Go ahead.
Oh, but I was just gonna say, I saw this thing that said that Dumbo movie that Disney has coming out.
Yeah.
They're holding ticket sales for that. In hopes that people get tickets for Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But it's just by a week though, and I think it's a pre-sale though.
Yeah, it's I think
it's just odd.
Let me make sure. Let me look here. Yeah, on the 11th, that Monday, this coming Monday, they're gonna put those on pre-sale. I'm gonna say something. If they're counting on Captain Marvel to carry Dumbo. Probably not a good idea.
I think that they're worried that Dumbo's going to be more interesting. Because think about the star power that they have for Dumbo. Don't they have Michael Keaton, and then they have a ton of other people.
Danny
it's
DeVito.
Stacked, man. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, they're gonna lose a lot of money on that.
I
think they're worried.
That's nightmare fuel. The entire thing is nightmare fuel.
Yeah, Brie Larson's a superhero, but she can't beat Batman.
The original Batman. Well, kind of. Original movie Batman. Oh, damn it. Too many
Batman 89. He was the first Batman to kill people on screen.
Mm-hmm. Where's Timothy the Mouse and Jim Crow? I don't think you're going to get the crows at all in in a remake of Dumbo.
His name is James Crow.
Oh, okay. And
yeah, they essentially took out everything that was entertaining about that movie and left behind nightmare fuel.
Yeah, they took out the mouse. They took out Timothy the Mouse, and they made it children. That helped Dumbo. But something I noticed last night when we actually talked about that for a little bit. That the Dumbo, the CGI model has more emotions than Brie Larson.
Yeah. One thing it's got going for it.
Mm-hmm.
It can act.
Yeah. So let's talk about the actual review scores. Who do we want? Okay. Do we want to see Rotten Tomatoes first, or do we want to see Metacritic first? Metacritic. Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes police.
Metacritic's Metascore for Captain Marvel is 66.
Ooh.
And somehow that's positive.
That sounds about right. I mean, it seems like it's going to be kind of mediocre,
Yeah.
The only reason it's positive is because it's above half.
No.
Think about this, guys. Like, if it didn't have that Marvel logo on there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Do you think people, dude, this would probably get like a 40s or like 50s?
If it was called Captain Action or something like that, and not Captain Marvel, this would not even be on anybody's radar.
That's the thing. Like, people are, it's just like a kind of like streetwear. Like, people buy into a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'll get that like Supreme hoodie, and it's like $500, and it's like cheap.
Yeah, and then you find out you could have gotten a better one at Walmart.
Yeah.
Before we dig into the text reviews on Metacritic, I want you to look up 2 movies for me. Okay. I want you to look up Meteor Man and Steel. And I want to compare scores to Captain.
On Metacritic?
On Metacritic.
Okay, you're making me do work when I'm...
Steel had shot.
Well, you do it. You do it, Savior.
Do my bidding.
I'll do it. I don't care. So what you're saying, Crystal? I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was just saying that Steel had Shaq, though, man.
That's true. I mean, it had a little bit of star power at least, right?
Yeah, and I mean it was like it's one of those I don't know, like guilty pleasure movies. Like, it's bad, but it's like so bad that it's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you'll have fun. It's like The Room, you watch it to laugh at it, man. Like, it's so bad.
I don't think
I'm sure you can't do that with Captain Marvel.
I don't doubt it.
Okay, I can't. I'm gonna have to narrow this down a little bit. Steel. Put Shaq. Not Shag. I can't spell.
Shaquille O'Neal.
So like I said, this is what happens when you make me do stuff during the stream.
What, did you accidentally look up porn yet?
No, I'm on Metacritic. I can't find. I'm not gonna find it.
A blonde too far? Whoa.
I don't think they have Meteor Man on Metacritic. In fact,
that's kind of funny.
They got the game. They got some games, like some iOS games from that, but they don't have the movies. So your plan failed miserably.
I'll look up them on Rotten Tomatoes. Compare them.
Yeah, and again, send me links. So we got this. Let's look down here. Okay, 24 positive reviews, and okay, Crystal, I sent you some screenshots earlier today.
Yeah, I saw some of them.
Don't you agree that those quote positive reviews are really hedging?
Well, dude, and I've said this before, just in the entertainment industry, there's a lot of I kind of call them goodie bags. Like, they give these people, the tickets to go see the film, before everybody else, these pre-screenings for the press. And then they give them all of this, merch and stuff like that. People are already tainted. And then it's in order to stay on the list, to keep getting all of these movies and early reviews, you have to, you rock the boat, you get knocked off the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
it's
people
funny.
Are, scared to give it a bad review,
Exactly. I was talking about this yesterday, and I got some fucking that were getting in there and sending me fucking Alex Jones tinfoil hat bullshit saying that doesn't happen. And I'm like, dude, I used to be one of the fucking people.
Yeah.
Not on this level, but I used to be one of the people that they would tell me, now, so-and-so gives us this free shit and we're giving this free shit. So when you review them, keep in mind.
Yeah, dude. Like, even
we want to keep getting their free shit.
This issue.
Yeah. Step away from the mic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, you want to stay on the list to get all this new makeup, man. Like, that stuff's not cheap.
Yeah,
that's what it's like. Oh, you give it a bad review, you're out. Yeah.
It's kind of like this. Here's an example that I heard about. This is when this is about politics, but it's also very relevant to this discussion. You know how when, people run for office, especially in Congress, in the House of Representatives, they're talking about, I'm going up there and I'm going to be different and I'm going to do the things that nobody's ever done before and I'm going to push this bill and make this happen because you elected me and I'm working for you, right? So you get elected. You go up to Washington. The first thing the party leadership says, hey, good job on winning your election. So do you like it here so far? Well, yeah, I do. I like being a congressman. Yeah. He's like, so you want to stay here for a while? Yeah. Okay, then you do exactly what we fucking say.
Yep.
That's exactly like all idealism is thrown out the door, right? So
yeah.
You vote the party line or you get the fuck out.
A lot of this stuff, there's a lot of other people at play, like all these different players that are higher up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just it's difficult, man. And so it's, just one of those things where it's going to be hard to get more honest reviewers, just because the way they have the system set up.
That's why another reason why I split off to do my own website and stuff is I rather buy the stuff and review it myself, because I was getting that pressure from random products and this and that and early this and that, and like, stuff is cool, but when I'm sitting here stressing out because I'm trying to figure out how to word a review of something where I'm trying to warn people about it but nicely, like And
I mean, like, this newest run of the Shazam comic, like, they sent out like literal trades of like older series and like hats and like t-shirts, all this stuff. Like, you can't stay unbiased. It's crazy.
It's kind of like I said, I can guarantee you a lot of these reviews. Now, there are some that are going straight up shill for the movie no matter what. Like the Mary Sue review was just garbage.
Well,
right?
yeah.
But
that was funny actually.
Yeah, but that was to be expected. It's the Mary Sue, Yeah. They were, even if the movie was dog shit, terrible, they were going to say it was the greatest movie ever made. It didn't matter. But
dude, they would say that even if they didn't even bother to watch it.
A lot of these people, especially on Rotten Tomatoes, where they have the quote, the quote top critics, that get that little special title. I guarantee you, they're the ones that get the nice swag bags like Crystal was talking about. They get the early access, they get the interviews, so do you want that to, you want to keep doing that there? Person who works for this random website? Well, yeah, I would like to do that. Well, then what you're going to do is you're going to give us at least an A. If you want to add a plus to that, that's fine. But
right.
So let's look at some of these. And like I said, I'm good. I just read the blurbs because it's funny how they pick the blurbs that are perfect for what I'm trying to, express.
Yeah. Because they sound exactly like shit I've been forced to write before.
Yeah. So from The Verge, Shayna O'Neill. This is the highest review so far. In fact, you know what? Let me do a refresh just to make sure nothing else has come through since. Because I really doubt that the score has. No, it hasn't increased any. Let's see. From The Verge, this is a 90. It rises to the occasion with strong performances and its director's willingness to slow down and take the story seriously, balance humor, action, and exposition in a carefully calibrated package. Does that sound like an elevator pitch to anybody else?
It sounds like corporate trying to make a spin. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
For
It's
damage
like,
control.
Yeah, that's like, Crystal. You know, you do, you know, you kind of do this for a living. You've seen shit like this. You know, it's like, it's
that reads like damage control to me.
That's when the suit comes in and they said, "This is what we want everybody to say about the movie." Right? That's, you know, this suit is probably a lawyer. We want everybody to say this about the movie. We don't care. We don't care about your opinion. You're going to say this. You know?
Yeah.
Chicago Sun-Times. Oh, this is Richard Roper. Okay. This isn't the greatest Marvel movie ever made, but it's definitely one of the funniest and one of the sweetest. Oh. And they're probably saying that because of the cat.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. But like somebody said, I think, Piper, you earlier when you said that, when I said it's still, even though it's like 66 is still green, that means positive. And you said, well, you know, maybe but that's not true because Metacritic also does video games, right? And they have they have Dead or Alive 6 up here, and it's got a 74 user average, and it's yellow.
Damn. So then, where the hell are they coming up with? Okay, well, how are they doing this? How are they figuring up their shit?
Okay, with Metacritic, I know what they do is they have their own formula, because you know how lots of newspapers and websites and stuff have different ways to grade stuff, right? Like somebody will say, you know, 5 stars, or they'll say it's a 4 out of 5, or somebody will say 8 out of 10, or somebody will say,
and some use like a 100 scale.
Yeah, or you know, something like that. So they got a way they kind of balance it out to, this is what we've aggregated down to for a number. You know, so it'd be a uniform number and stuff like that. It's a little bit better. I mean, I don't like Metacritic at all, right? I think Metacritic is like cancer, but it's still better than what Rotten
Tomatoes. So they don't
Tomatoes
take
does.
all the numbers and average them?
They're supposed to. But still, you know, it makes you wonder. Unless they're doing it, they're trying to base the positive, because there's 24 positive versus 14 mixed and 1 negative, that they're saying since there are more positives than mixed and negative, that they're going to leave it as quote a positive score of 66. Even though when I was in school, 66 was failing.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. I see the numbers like they might be going, well, since most of them are green, then we're going to say it's green. And I'm like, but if your number is 66.
Yeah.
Then
it doesn't help either, because...
Does it mean that you can write a review and be like, I give it a 1, best movie ever? Mm-hmm. Like...
I give it a green.
Yeah, a green 1, best movie ever. Because that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
They would have to do get it that way.
Okay.
2 out of 10, game of the year.
That's an IGN review. I think we'll see one of those in a minute here too.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let's see where
they're
we at.
the worst.
They're terrible, aren't they?
I can't.
God.
Yeah. There's something else. They're like in their own corner doing their own thing.
There was a time, I've told this story before. I don't know, but I haven't told it on stream, I don't think. I remember very clearly one time IGN was reviewing a video game called what was it called? Eternal Darkness for the GameCube, right? They reviewed the game. They gave it I think a 7 out of 10. And they described the gameplay and all this stuff in it. And they described this like, oh, you know, when we got this, you know, the really cool thing is the crafting element where you can like make formulas and stuff like that. There was one problem with that review. Those things were not in the game.
Not in the game.
Yeah.
I was just about to say I don't remember any crafting.
They took a pitch from when it was in development.
Whoa, dude.
Where it was something Silicon Knights wanted to add into it but didn't have time to, and said it was in the game.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I played that and there was
there was absolutely no crafting in there whatsoever.
The only thing that comes close to crafting is once you find the runes, you can kind of just dummy them together until you find one that makes a spell. And then you don't have to find I don't think you have to find the actual spell card that has the spell name on it. You just use it whenever. You just don't know what it's called.
Yeah, but like I said, they were like acting like there was some deep crafting thing, like you're playing Warcraft or something like that.
You gotta grind for Eternal Darkness Gold.
Yeah. It's probably still more worth than Venezuela Boulevard. But, and there was another time, the God Hand review. Oh, God. That made me physically ill.
But I don't like hearing God Hand.
It made me physically ill because they gave it like a 3 out of 10. And you could tell that the guy didn't play it. Because everything he described was not in the game. Anyway, go ahead.
I just want to read one line of lyric from the God Hand theme that I think is very important. Mm-hmm. God power keeps my pimp hand strong.
That's a... Yeah. Let's see. Let's read some more of these blurbs. Let's say Marvel films are all about anticipation. They're designed to make you crave the next helping before you're even swallowed the current one. But this is the first in a while that I found myself immediately hungry to revisit. See, that was a hedge. That's like a really, really, really hedge review.
I was gonna say I don't understand that one.
What they're saying is, they're trying to say they wanted more out of it, but they don't want to give it a bad review in saying they wanted more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're getting more clever in the warning than when I was doing shit like this.
So we got Uprocks from Matt Ryan. Yes, Captain Marvel is an origin story, but it's handled in such a unique way that it doesn't feel like an origin story. That's basically him saying, I didn't know what was going on.
Right? Which we got from a lot of them sounded like it was a mess.
Yeah.
Or that it was messy.
I can't wait till I get to the New York Post one. That's the best one. I think
feel like you compared.
You've seen that, Crystal, you saw that one earlier, right? The New York Post when
I saw that one
during John Luke's stream. Yeah, that was holy shit. I might read that one on here because it's just so good.
Do it, man.
All right. The Associated Press, Lindsay Barr. Now, this is the first one I was like, holy crap. And remember, this is a woman. This is a whammon. But Mary Sue had said only men are giving this bad reviews. Who's
right? Only men give bad reviews.
Is she coming out as trans?
Who's juggling over there?
Oh, sorry about that. I was moving my microphone.
Yeah, well, professionalism, Piper. Professionalism. Remember those words. Sorry. I'm just messing with you. I spent over 2 hours with Captain Marvel / Carol Danvers, and I still have no idea what her personality is. Sure, there's a lot more going on in Captain Marvel, but it's pretty egregious failing considering that the creative bigwigs at Marvel had 10 years and 20 films to work it out.
Right?
Yeah.
And Mata in the chat just says, funny how none of them mentioned the cat when that's all they talked about prior to the film's release. I think I have a feeling Disney probably said, downplay the cat. Yeah,
they're probably like, all right, enough of the cat.
Yeah.
Zip it or the cat gets it.
Yeah. The Atlantic, David Sims. So what I'm seeing from Metacritic so far is that they're taking less review scores, which is probably a good thing because I've seen some of the ones they've included on Rotten Tomatoes, and I wouldn't include them because they're just blog posts. And I have a feeling that they're probably trying to do that to try to artificially inflate the score.
Yeah.
But anyway, The Atlantic, David Sims. The 21st entry in Marvel's galactic film empire and the first focused on a female superhero played by Brie Larson, is a perfectly fun time at the movies that deftly lays out the stakes of its new character for many future appearances. But, more often than not, it feels a little routine. That's basically saying it was boring.
Yep.
Now here...
That's saying that it's very generic, yeah.
Now here is the blurb, and like I said, I'm going to open that. I'm opening that in a new tab because... holy shit, that was the best review so far. New York Post, Johnny Oleksinski, I think is how you say that. What's said to be Marvel's most powerful superhero ever is served melatonin by Brie Larson. That basically saying that she's putting people melatonin that helps you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Not melanin. Melatonin. There is precious little texture and detail, ups or downs, or emotions of any kind in her performance. The character, even when kicking ass, is a total bore. Such as it is, the film's best moments are provided by Jackson and a hilarious cat. And now we go to I'm just gonna, like I said, go right to it.
I mean, if you think about it too, guys, like this whole Nick Fury stuff, that's CGI, man.
Yeah, like, it's just like.
So what is that saying? That you have a cat and you have somebody who's like mostly CGI, like, guys. This is bad.
I like that the doctor says, it put me to sleep, but I don't like people complaining about it, so A+, 4 thumbs up. Let's see. So this is the full New York Post. Let's say the latest instance of Marvel Studios wringing out every last drop of ink from they can is Captain Marvel. Never heard of her because this is the character's first appearance in a major film. Plundering the vault for lesser-known creations has paid off for the Disney-owned company so far. Black Panther made over $1 billion and scored a Best Picture nomination. Captain Marvel, on the other hand, made an Oscar winner, best known for playing a captive mother, take on the role she is 100% wrong for while attempting to sell Jude Law as an action star like he's a Louis Vuitton bag on Canal Street.
Damn.
No simpy. No simpy.
Yeah, no simpy.
Yeah. The plot is a vocabulary lesson from hell. Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, starts off as Vers, a member of an alien race called the Kree, who fights alongside her buddy Yon-Rogg, lol, in the elite Star Force. She has the ability to shoot powerful energy beams out of her hands, but Yon is teaching her how to restrain it. Typical man. The Kree are at war with another race called the Skrulls, baddies who wear cheap green Halloween masks and shapeshift like Robert Patrick in Terminator 2.
This is great.
Hey, that was some cool effects back then.
Hey, for 1992, those effects were amazing. Yeah.
Can we get a deal with it meme made for this guy, for whoever wrote this?
Oh yeah, definitely. Go find his name.
Well, dude, this film, I believe, they had 2 directors.
Yeah, it
and
did.
It's not as uncommon. Like, it's kind of odd to have 2. I mean, it's not uncommon, but like, it was weird because I believe the lady, she had, like, as far as I know, like, she didn't really have as many like films under her belt.
I believe they said
like,
she did like
mostly it was just like short films or something.
Like short indie films is what I've understood.
Yeah.
Like basically
which is totally different from blockbusters. So she had to have somebody else actually come on
and kind of guide it a little bit, yeah.
So that by itself, it's like a liability because you have somebody who's not experienced and you're giving them something and it's so far into like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, what is it, like 10 years in?
Yeah.
And you want to hand it off to somebody new? Yeah. Like, that's dangerous, man. Yeah.
If I was Disney and Marvel, after the success of Wonder Woman, I'd have been pushing hard to get that director, like to get her to sign some kind of agreement. You know,
if you put an indie person like they did on like a Thor Ragnarok, like that guy, he'd done the Taika Waititi.
Yeah,
he's done some pretty decent indie films.
Yeah,
but you know, that's like, what was that, like the 3rd Thor movie?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, you know, you can kind of let somebody do what they want because it's like, okay, well, it's the 3rd Thor movie. Yeah. But if this is their first appearance, you shouldn't be that lax.
No, it's like,
yeah, for sure.
But let's see, what is this? Naturally, and the thing is, they wrote it too.
Really?
Anna Bodden and Ryan Fleck, they wrote and directed it.
Ooh.
So yeah. So naturally, writer-directors.
Red flag. Yeah.
Yeah. Film. I was gonna say you would know, wouldn't you? It's like, oh, I wrote this and I'm gonna direct it. You're like, oh no.
Well, I mean,
Oh no.
Well, it's that if it's your first time, like this is your first outing, right? And you have all of this responsibility, that's like next level. So I can see if you're like, you're doing the directing, but it's like if you're trying to write it and direct it, and this is your first time with something on this large of a scale, that's kind of like a train wreck waiting to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Naturally, writer-director Anna Bodden and Ryan Fleck's film is set in 1995 because millennials and ka-ching. I like that. That's funny.
Yeah.
I like how they call her, apparently her Cree name is Vers.
That sounds kind of dumb, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Vers. I mean, even though I think that would have caused a bigger stir if they, gave her Cree name Marvell. At least it would have made more sense.
I don't know. It's weird because I'm not as familiar, with the Carol Danvers character. So I don't know.
Well,
yeah,
I could give you a lesson, but I don't want to. That would take.
I mean, besides the stuff with Rogue, I don't know much.
Honestly, that's her that's her most impactful moment in any continuity.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm a fan of the original Captain Marvel. Marvel.
The guy, the man, the one who got cancer, got Earth cancer, and died. Yeah,
dude, that stuff was that's some it's fantastic storytelling, man.
Yeah, it's like you got a guy who's got all these powers and stuff, and he dies from from cancer, of all things.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, even when he died, I mean, I think wasn't that Jim Starlin who wrote that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
And the fact that he had a moment in there where Thanos, his biggest villain, his biggest adversary, comes and pays respects to him. That's next level shit right there. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, people just can't tell a story like they used to. It's it's kind of sad.
And said, but it's funny how I remember how Jim Starlin said, I think it was a couple years ago, he said that the film side of Marvel films, they treat him better than than Marvel Comics does. I said, I wonder how he feels now after watching this.
Yeah.
Because I was watching, a friend of mine showed me a picture last night. They were showing the red carpet premiere of Captain Marvel, and they had Kelly Sue DeConnick show up.
Yeah.
And holy crap,
she was at the Aquaman premiere too, because she's doing that Aquaman comic series, the run or whatever.
Yeah, and I saw her and I was like, wow, she looks so old. And I'm like, she's in her 40s and she looks like she's in her 60s. I was like, I don't know. Somebody whoever was her makeup artist that day missed the mark totally, because it looked bad. It's like, I wonder if she's getting shit. It's like somebody at Marvel told her, look, this time we've given you 12 chances, but this 13th time you better get it right.
Well, there's multiple people now. The only way to make her interesting is to have Rogue steal her powers.
Yeah.
I've seen that meme going around on Twitter. Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Let's see. Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah. Ka-ching. Vers crash lands on a Blockbuster Video, encounters the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Space Invaders, Troll Dolls, Windows 95, and endless other cheap nostalgia. Why would...
Oh, my God.
Space Invaders came out in the 70s. What the...
Yeah, Space Invaders old as fuck.
They couldn't get a licensing thing from Nintendo to show a Super Nintendo game or something like that.
Good luck.
That's
with
fucking
that,
funny.
Yeah.
Windows 95. Windows. The only thing I wonder if they have the sound effect. The modem dialing sound.
Yeah.
I wonder if they.
Yes.
I hope they have. I wonder if they have that in the movie. That would be like, they're trying
Dude,
to get on
I wonder if they try to.
AOL.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if they needed to get online at some point and had to use.
And then they had like where you put in like passwords and codes to get to like websites. Man, yeah.
Be sure to put in your
Dude.
code.
That's funny. Actually, today I was just telling my son about how the internet in general was when it first became an almost household thing and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And how different it was.
Usenet and Netscape.
Right?
Yeah.
And be sure to, and in some places, I know it wasn't here, but I know a lot of places, like, you had to pay by the minute to be online.
Awful.
Like because some phone carriers, they didn't want their lines clogged up with internet, so they charged you by the minute if you got on the internet.
Oh my god.
Gotta know how to stack those AOL discs.
Yeah, those AOL
Ours,
discs.
I know, we had AOL and our phone company started charging us for 3-way calls.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we were on the internet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Let's see. As we're hounded by soulless branding, Vers is pursued by the Skrulls. On the run, she starts having flashbacks to a life on Earth in which she was a pilot named Carol Danvers. Oh, I see. They just took the last part of her name and just that made her Kree name. That was clever.
Oh man.
I'm rolling my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And begins to doubt her true identity and where she came from. She also meets Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, funny as ever. Because guys, when I think about Samuel L. Jackson, I think, say that guy's a riot.
Funny, right? Woo!
What the hell? Who up till now has never seen a superhero before. But he knows about him, though. He would know because he works for S.H.I.E.L.D. He would know about Captain America.
But I don't think he'd be like that surprised. I mean,
he's like, oh well, here we found one finally, kind of thing. Instead of the main Skrull chasing Vers is Talos, played by Ben Mendelsohn. The actor bizarrely keeps his thick Aussie accent intact beneath his rubber mask, and the character says things that aliens simply would not say, such as, "Hang on now, before you go swinging those jazz hands around." Jazz hands?
Oh no.
Jazz hands. Jazz hands was like in recent years, right?
Jazz hands has been around for a long time, or at least the term has.
But they still wouldn't be using those phrases. This is what happens when you have like 7 writers on one movie.
Let's see.
Doing a period piece and don't understand the period.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. What was it like? Yeah, it was like one of those Spider-Man. Was it the ones with Andrew Garfield?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the first movie, and they stated the time period, and it was before Wi-Fi was invented, and it was like that scene on the plane or whatever, and they had Wi-Fi. It was like one of the goofs. I was like, wait up.
Like,
let me look. Oh, yeah.
That's what we call we call that the Booker T moment, where Booker T from wrestling.
And like, what's weird too is that like quite a few films they'll have like somebody who's like the researcher like looking into this stuff.
Yeah.
And
let's see. Okay, I did that. Jazz hands. Okay. Nearly every aspect of this film is half-baked. An anti-war message that's introduced believes itself to be wise and sophisticated, but it's actually naive and overly simple. And the movie desperately wants to be a feminist rallying cry, but does little to earn the role outside of having the female main character playing No Doubt's "I'm just a girl" during one of the fight scenes. Oh no. Oh, why? Disney, why? Marvel, why? What are you doing?
Honestly, if Disney wanted this movie to feel like the 90s, and what they should have done is just fished out some cartoons out of their vault, have somebody watching Rescue Ranger.
Right? Yeah. Something that was actually, topical for the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wonder Woman smartly threw Diana into a world of oppressive and inferior men, allowing the character to overcome obstacles and succeed in spite of them. See, that made sense because she popped up during World War I. where
yeah,
gender equality wasn't really a thing yet, you know. So
yeah, and she's coming from like Amazon,
where women are, you know, the not only dominant but the only.
Yeah, so any of her being overly girl power makes sense because that's where she came from.
Yeah. Let's see. Captain Marvel throws Vers into a world of plot holes and Happy Days lunchboxes.
What the fuck? I don't remember anybody having any of those.
I remember going to school and
not
all
in
the kids.
that time frame. No.
Yeah, I remember I was going to school in the 90s and all those kids running around with their Happy Days lunchbox.
Right.
You know, I remember wanting to be the Fonz when I grew up. Oh
my god.
Oh wait, that would mean I'd be like Eric Esquivel. I don't want to do that.
Yikes! Yeah, double yikes.
Have a bad time.
What's said to be Marvel's most powerful superhero ever is Sir Melatonin Batlark. Yeah, that was the last part. Yeah, we already read that part. But I like the ending. Let's call the sequel Captain Furball. They're basically saying let's make it about the cat. Yeah, let's make it about the cat. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Gotta open that one. I'm looking. I just saw the scores for Steel. Oh man! Now, honestly, we're not gonna get that low as far as go to Captain Marvel's reviews.
Well, we're never gonna get the real Captain Marvel.
Right. As far as critical reviews, right? The actual critic reviews. Audience score. We'll see what happens. Because I'm thinking they won't release the audience score until probably Thursday. You know, letting people actually update those and stuff. Let me back up here so I can put Captain Marvel's score. Oh, it's creeped up to 84%. It was 83.
Oh, it went back up.
It went back up. I mean, somebody said, "Quick, we need to put a shill. We need to shill out another." I like this one. This is the fucking best neg I've ever heard. Good thing it's still March. Captain Marvel would have made for a weak start for the summer blockbuster season.
Woo.
Like this one from IndieWire. Yeah, IndieWire, like they went in hard on them too. It's like neither a blast from the past nor an inspiring glimpse into the future. At the end of the day, it's just another Marvel movie, and not a particularly good one at that. And here's some, like I said, when I called Shield links, or Shield reviews. This is where I said, where I was mentioning earlier, they want it to be negative, right? But at the same time, they don't want to come off as negative. So they kind of give it a better rating than it deserves and try to hedge around with different wording. Like this, for example, it's still a positive review, even though it's 2 out of 4. And it says, as shaky and unfocused as Captain Marvel often seems, it managed to reach its destination with confidence. In the end, Larson sticks the landing, oblique with something more muted than absolute triumph.
Yeah, that was somebody that doesn't want to lose their hookups, but did not like the movie.
Mm-hmm. And this is a full shill right here. Brie Larson was already my hero before Captain Marvel, so this only reconfirms the obvious.
What did Brie Larson do that was heroic for this movie?
And also, if that's all they have to say, then they just legitimately said, I just like this for the simple fact that it's Brie Larson.
Yeah. That's pretty much
and not the movie itself.
She's not even trying, though.
Yeah.
A lot of those scenes, like when she's delivering the lines, it's like a bad overdub, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's awful. I hope that's not the finished audio or something, because that was awful.
Yeah, you hope there was something missing, right? Please let there be something.
Yeah,
missing.
They didn't get the ADR yet. Yeah, I hope.
Yeah. Brie's a hero. She put out a fire with her bare feet.
Remind everybody that inanimate carbon rod is twice as heroic as Brie Larson, much more useful, and emotes better. In Rod, we trust.
I don't know. If it gets a sequel, I think they could get Planked Player.
That's an interesting original review score. They said hopeful, colorful space opera-y comic book escapism with pumping 90s soundtrack and perhaps the most importantly, an awesome ginger cat called Goose. Here we go with the damn cat again. But but their score is 16 out of 20. I don't
Damn,
get that. I don't get that. Like what?
Who goes out of 20?
I like this one from Tara McNamara from Common Sense Media. I don't know why this one's funny to me. Powerful female superhero story has some violence, language. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 5.
What?
Could not think of anything good to say. 4 out of 5.
Ooh, grip head off! Ah.
But dude, it's like a PG-13. Like,
Yeah.
they can only go so far, man.
Well, it's like
I think they just read the freaking PG-13 rating and what it entails, and then put 4 to 5.
Yeah, it's like yeah, but it's just like what I said. Like, powerful superhero has some story, has some violence, language. 4 to 10, 4 to 5.
That's what I'm saying. It just sounds like they were like, let's see, PG-13 means has violence.
Well, you know, when they did the red carpet, if anybody was watching that, when they did this red carpet debut, and they showed Brie Larson that thing, and they had this whole thing where a little girl dressed up like Captain Marvel, and she leaned down, she's like, oh, it's so cute and everything. That little girl would not be allowed to go to that movie without a parent. I was like, that's...
Yeah.
I like this one. It's meant to show the lighter, more family-friendly side of the MCU, and to that extent, younger viewers should be pleased. But there is no lump-in-your-throat moments in Captain Marvel. 6 out of 10. And that's still a fresh review.
Wow.
Like I said...
They really can't find anything legitimate to say about them.
Oh, trust me, when I get down to, like, when I find the Mary Sue one, that's just like, oh my God, blow smoke right up Brie Larson's ass. Like, seriously? Let's see. Captain Marvel is a perfectly decent mid-tier superhero romp with some uplifting and positive female messaging in the second half. For a movie and a character carrying some serious expectations, it's a little bit of a disappointment.
You think?
3 out of 5. Let's just hope that Avenger Endgame follows through on something Carol Danvers asks herself. What happens when I'm finally set free? Yeah, you're kind of screwed, Thanos. Oh, God. Oh no.
Dude, I like the chat right now.
Okay, I haven't checked the chat in a minute. What's going on here? Let's see what's going on, chat. Let's say it exists. Here's our rating. Can we see our family like you promised?
Yeah, that's the one that got me really good. But I also like has girl, has cat, has black guy. 73 out of 10.
No, it's RT. It's exactly how Warner Brothers wants reviews consumed. Critics upload a recommend or a not. They can absolutely eviscerate the film. Won't be seen other than that. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Yeah, like I said, there's at least with Metacritic, at least it's an aggregate to a degree. But it sounds like with Rotten Tomatoes, it's just pure shilling.
Yeah,
I like this one.
Yeah. That's why after the movie comes, like a Thursday, they're gonna get rid of consumer reviews or whatever.
Oh,
audience reviews. Yeah.
Oh, how did this mad lad get to be able to review this movie? Christian Toto from Hollywood HollywoodandToto.com. It's as woke as star Brie Larson's press push. Woo. This guy from IndieWire. This is a good one. Neither a blast from the past nor an inspiring glimpse into the future. At the end of the day, it's just another Marvel movie. Not a particularly good one. I'm trying to find that one.
Great.
I'm trying to find the Mary Sue one because that was just like, here comes all the smoke right up the ass.
And like one thing, I know this is kind of like a side note, but I've noticed that the effects in the recent Marvel movies have actually gotten worse.
They have, haven't they?
Like yeah.
I mean, it could be that I notice this stuff more just because it's kind of, like in the wheelhouse.
Yeah,
but
it's it's kind of
like it's just getting worse and worse. Like the CG, and granted, like what they showed in the trailers might not be the final products. I mean, they could have fixed, some of the issues, when you go watch the movie. But it just feels like the CG is getting worse and worse.
Yeah. No, I feel that way too with final finished product movies. Either they're changing, passing it around who's actually doing that part.
Like
they're just not trying
outsourcing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when
Black Panther, like some of the CG sequences in Black Panther, and like the green screen, it was like awful, and I could just notice it, and it was.
It's kind of like
it was hard to ignore. Yeah.
It's kind of like when the first Transformers came out, live action.
Yeah.
And the effects on that, they basically went into great detail. This is Industrial Lights and Magic who did the CG work on this. And you could tell because they went into great detail to show parts of cars moving around and stuff like that. But
yeah, it's really freaking cool.
Yeah, but as the movies went on and they didn't use ILM as much and started using they would outsource it to other
it was people. Like they were trying to pinch pennies.
Yeah, you could see you could see the corners being cut and things like that. And this is not a statement on saying how good the movies were or not. I was talking about it specifically on the effects side, right? As far as the CG. And like I said, the first movie, the CG looks amazing. But then as time goes on, it starts looking less and less good. So still need to see Bumblebee. I've heard that was pretty good though. So anyway. Like this bit of a misstep at a crucial time. Interesting. I really wish I could find this not bleeding cool. I wouldn't want to see bleeding cool because I know that's going to be shill. Oh, look. a Whammon from Time Magazine gave it a rotten review.
Nice.
Larson does get a few opportunities in Captain Marvel be that regular, flawed but strong human. There just aren't enough of them, and they're hardly the focus of the movie. Oh God, National Review had a review. This ought to be good.
Please, it really sounds like
yeah,
tanked it, dude. Like awful.
Weekly World News got one.
Yeah, U.S. Weekly has one.
You'd buy Batboy.
The trap the filmmakers set for themselves is this. They set out to make a girl power statement, but feared acknowledging any difference between men and women. Yeah, it's good. Could be. Mara Reinstein from U.S. Weekly, so that's another Whammon who gave it a rotten review. It succeeds more as an amusing fill-in-the-blank Marvel backstory provider than a confident standalone tale of a woman discovering her fierceness. Let's see, another one, Esther Zuckerman from Thrillist. I've never heard of them, but another Whammon. The raw material is all there, but filmmaking itself does not yield any truly thrilling, resonant moments. The action sequences are rote at times, but also almost muddled.
Ooh.
Oh, I mean, there must be more reviews being added because like some stuff's getting knocked to the. Yeah, here's a shill. This is a total, absolute shill review. Check this out. Captain Marvel is here in the form of Brie Larson, who is kicking intergalactic booty, and I'm here for all of it. The chemistry and banter between Danvers and Fury is quick-witted and highlight. Score 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
really? Is that a real review?
Wow. It's called her site is called The Curvy Film Critic, so I'm guessing it's a blog.
Wow.
Does anyone else get a mental picture about what this person must look like in real life?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, this is a no.
I feel like that foot picture y'all said was me.
Mm-hmm. Probably. Here's one from Film Inquiry. That's a rotten review. This outing is more of a meh-vul than a Marvel for me, but I'm confident that a film worthy of the hero at its center will arrive sooner rather than later. I don't know, dude. It's like, I will say, I don't know about Marvel, but I know DC, they were very quick to cut bait when things didn't go well. And, you know, actually started hiring people who, like, made good. Here's the thing. I think Crystal will agree with me on this. How about make a good film first?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I know that sounds weird when I'm talking about superhero movies.
You know,
but...
it sounds like that would be, you know, like straightforward, but unfortunately it's not.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, and I can understand
and
that.
I mean, it's also the problem of that, you know, people are getting these properties or IPs, you know, that they don't really have any attachment to, and they don't really get why it's popular. They're kind of out of touch, and then they're trying to adapt it for an audience, and so they're having kind of this weird collision where you have the fans of that property and you kind of have the new emerging fan base. And so they're kind of at war with each other, and you're not kind of blending it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the problem is.
I like this one. This one's supposed to be a positive review, but it says liberating, cute, forgettable.
Were there any commas in there?
No. Let's see.
Need some Oxford there.
Well, let's see. Yeah, I'm kind of looking. Just looking. Let's looking. Only the most dedicated Marvel fans will follow this captain. Yeah, that's the one from.
And that's a pretty tall order when you go out of your way to try and alienate diehard Marvel fans.
Yeah.
I think the fact that you've got so many people breaking ranks saying "fuck it, it's a bad movie" are going to get more people just to say how they really feel.
Yeah. Let's see.
They can't kill us all.
Now, tell me, okay, this is NPR. This is from NPR. Tell me if this was like I'm just putting something on paper so, you know, I say I did a review. Marvel has been turning out multi-million-dollar superhero blockbusters for over a decade now. They know how to do them, and you know how to watch them.
Consume.
Wow.
Do your fucking job. Spend your money.
Wow. Oh my god.
I feel like we need Roddy Piper, like, playing with his fucking sunglasses, looking at that review, and it just says, consume, spend your fucking money.
Yeah, I like this one. The first female-led movie of the MCU deserved more. Yeah, like Black Widow or something.
Well, I mean, they've been pushing that Black Widow film back. Yeah. I almost wonder if it's even going to come out at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
That really should have been the film coming out right now.
I think
not this.
It would have gotten more play because people.
I mean, there would have been more build up for sure. Yeah,
because they know who Black Widow is. Everybody knows who Black Widow is already. You know, so. I like this one. Go ahead.
For the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, star a female lead. Instead of doing Black Widow, they should have, after the Fox buyout was complete, did Psylocke.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm saying do Black Widow because she's been in everybody else's stuff, so there's enough curiosity at this point.
And I mean, it's also been earned, too. Like, you've seen this character. Like, what was she in, like, Iron Man 2?
She was in Iron Man 2.
She was in, like
it feel like it was earned at this point.
Yeah.
She was in Iron Man 2, two Captain America movies, all the Avengers movies so far. So she's not an unknown quantity. Everybody knows who Black Widow is.
When you get people that are new to Marvel stuff because they just jumped into it because of the cinematic universe, those people especially are going to be like, yeah, dude, I want a backstory for her. I want to know more because she's all right now mysterious-ish.
Oh, here we go. Rick Hardman says in the chat. Okay, the point of order. Bree herself was responsible for 200 bloggers being added to the RT for diversity. Does that affect the score of her immediate next film? Obviously, it would. I mean, if they're considered critics, then they will be added to the aggregate. You know, so
yeah.
I liked it. I also like what he says here. NPR Cinema Review, made possible by a generous grant from the Walt Disney Corporation.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Sponsored in part by...
Yeah, sponsored in part by... Sesame Street is brought to you today by the letter Y. And Crystal, you weren't here when I first read this, but what do you think about this? I'm just going to read this first line of this one. The picture is not dull exactly, just mundane.
Makes me think of Mundane Matt.
Well, if that's the case, take that film out back and shoot it.
I just see his crying face.
Captain Marvel, no!
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna get the lads to work on a picture. I'm gonna get them to have
so much soy.
I'm gonna get them to have a picture of this quote and like Monday Matt crying on it, like.
Well, dude, just have him crying and then put like all of the reviews just kind of like sliding in the background. Just overlay, yeah.
Just him like have his little cry, and it's like
yeah.
You know, we had a video of that. We have a video. Well, I say we. It's a friend of mine. He's got a video of Matt, and it's playing that Stain song, "Something to Remind You."
I never heard that. No.
It's the best way I can describe that song is it's very suicidal. And so the idea was like
a cry for help.
Yeah. It's kind of like Matt's like, the joke was that Matt like got found out, and he's crying, and because the words are, "This is it. I say goodbye to this chapter of my ever changing life." So it kind of starts off like very depressing. So
yeah, I don't know. That's odd. Sounds odd.
It's not a bad song. It's just in context, and especially when you put it with Mundane Matt, it's funny.
Well, it's like "Suicide is Painless."
Yeah,
it's a weird song when you actually listen to the lyrics and forget this is the theme to MASH.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But it's the context of the film MASH, and the ending of it. It makes sense.
Did they remove Mary Sue? Because I did not see Mary Sue's. Oh, it's back down to 83, by the way.
Making it different.
Yeah, I think it's going to go lower as time goes on, in all honesty.
You know how usually with stuff like this, it takes like a year or a year to 10 months?
I think it's going to be less than that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot less than that, in all honesty. Yeah, let's see. I don't... Because there's like 110 fresh and 22 rotten reviews. And unfortunately, they don't do... what do you call it? They don't do it like at the time it was added kind of thing. Because I know they did it earlier in the day, and then they lied and said that like the only people that were giving it negative reviews were men, which is easily disproven. All you gotta do is like click rotten and scroll down. Let's see. Oh, let's count the women. Okay. Oh, there's one woman. There's two women. 3 women. 4 women. 5 women. So I've counted 5 women out of the so far out of the bad reviews.
You gotta do the count laugh.
1 woman. Ha ha ha. Oh, what was I up to? 5? Okay, 6 women.
Yeah.
7 women. 8 women. Well, no, they put her. That's not negative though. Oh God, fix your fucking site, Rotten Tomatoes. Jesus. I clicked on rotten. I want just to see the rotten reviews. So yeah, that's like
you're talking about. These are all men and incels from Gamergate. The fake news told me.
So yeah, that's like it's like six women who have who gave it a negative review out of the 22 negatives. So
yeah, and the ones being posted at Mary Sue, they've got them from multiple sites too. So there's even more.
Different scores from the up and coming this week in the movie itself. This is Warner Brothers software, so you know how well it works. I'll say I'm glad Captain Marvel introduced me to those Magic Eye games from the 90s.
Is it Captain Marvel or a sailboat?
And today's episode is brought to you by the words "fuck" and "you."
Literally, yeah. Wow.
I say I tried to do the counts, laugh, and text, and I failed. 1, ha ha ha. 2, ha ha ha. 3, ha ha ha. Yeah. I guess it's Yeah. He had a little ha at the beginning of it though. It was like ha ha ha.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and typing it to where it'll come out right is closer to Okay,
we've gotten to a point where we're discussing the. Now I think I'm going to show this.
Now I kind of really want a revamp of this entire show where every stream is done like Sesame Street.
Right.
Only, we still talk about this stuff.
And then, like I said, I'm gonna show this at the end because I didn't see this on the list, but this is from Slate, and Slate is definitely wouldn't be a. They would definitely, if they could, not be honorable in their reviews, but I think even they couldn't do it because it says finally women have their own mediocre Marvel movie. Captain Marvel is just as formulaic as countless other superhero films. That's a triumph.
Wow. You know what's bad, though, is that the other superhero films have actually been entertaining.
Yeah.
So they got the formula wrong still, somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they didn't really get the formula right, to be honest.
Well, honestly, I think they tried with the formula, but then they cast Brie, and that just killed the formula.
I'm just glad that people like EVS and Mike Miller and people are going to go see this movie so that we don't have to.
Right? Yeah.
Because I couldn't stand it. I was like, I can't do this. I can't.
I mean,
it's going to be a Marvel movie.
If you think about it, like the marketing for this movie, like it's so bizarre. Like Brie Larson won an Oscar, right?
Yeah.
You'd think, and Jude Law has been like nominated multiple times.
Yeah.
But it's like they're not using that like kind of the common route where it's like, oh, Oscar, winning, Oscar nominated. Like they're pushing an agenda, obviously.
Yeah, they left that part out and they're just like, it's about a chick.
It's like the part that could actually get people, hey, Oscar.
Oscar winner, performer.
Winning actress.
Oscar winner, Brie Larson, and Oscar nominated this, and, Samuel L. Jackson.
Like, dude. Yeah, dude. And it's just like they're so like just trying to.
There was a lot of things they could have done where you could have made it stand on. They could have stood on merit just by the pedigree of the actors, right?
Yeah.
But then they made it like
for sure, yeah.
Like you said, they made it about an agenda instead.
Yeah.
And plus,
unfortunately, when you make it about an agenda and you're not like trying to, be low key about it, it kind of comes off like pushy, which is what this, film is kind of seeming like right now, and especially with the marketing push, for sure. Yeah.
And what's funny is, and I'm going to give everybody a spoiler, so if you actually are going to see the movie and you actually care, maybe not listen to this, what I'm about to say in the next few seconds. You get 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you have another actress, Annette Bening, who's also a Oscar-winning actress, right? She has a part in this movie. And I think they were trying to play her off originally like as a motherly figure for Carol. But you find out that she's actually the Kree Supreme Intelligence.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. And I'm like, so what you're saying is that the Kree's ultimate intelligence, the leader of their society, is a whammon. Because empowerment.
Right?
Pretty sure that the Supreme Intelligence was just a computer screen in the in the comics.
Look, you get to play an inanimate object! Yay, women!
I mean, like, the problem with a lot of this stuff is that there's an issue that Marvel kind of has now, like I was saying earlier, with the kind of audience divide.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this issue now where it's like they're trying to push these new characters that they are kind of getting rejected in the comic sphere.
Yeah.
Like, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, like all this stuff that's kind of getting rebooted into oblivion.
Yep.
They're trying to push that because that's kind of what they think the film audience is, going to latch on to.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not worried about making a good product or something that people are going to like. It's just all,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's coming up, just jumbled. Yeah.
I kind of agree with what somebody said earlier on something, where I don't think they had any intention of making a Captain Marvel movie. It wasn't until Wonder Woman was successful that they decided, we need to put a woman in a big role.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That happens a lot of times. Like, look at the Jungle Book. It's like Disney had that Jungle Book movie come out, and then there's like all these other Jungle Book movies.
Yeah,
they kind of just
you'll see that stuff happen
because
a lot.
That's like
some of them are like in different stages of development and stuff like that, obviously. But then it's like sometimes the studio's like, oh, we hear you're making a Jungle Book movie. Now we've got to hurry up and get our Jungle Book movie out before the other studio does.
Yeah, it's essentially
it's just a mess.
And it happens a lot with like stuff that's in like public domain, like Jungle Book.
Oh yeah, all the time. Like all those Snow White movies that came out.
Yeah.
Like what was that one? Like Mirror Mirror or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it had Armie Hammer in there, I think.
Yep, I remember that. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and then they had that other one. With Kristen Stewart and stuff.
Snow White and the Huntsman. Yeah, because it had Chris Hemsworth playing the Huntsman or whatever.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had like Thor opposite a block of wood, and but like I said, what I find hilarious is like I forgot the name of the actress, but she was apparently also up for the role of Captain Marvel, and honestly, as far as looks go, she probably would have been better because she's athletic looking, and still cute and everything like that. But she's actually said like after reading through the script, I'm glad I didn't get the movie because now it seems really boring.
Yeah, she flat out said like she probably dodged a career bullet too.
Yeah. Because I want to one day when this all is said and done, I want to ask Brie Larson, it's like, how does it feel that you killed not only a film franchise but a company? Because Captain Marvel, let's be honest, the way they're pushing Captain Marvel in the comics, it's already killing Marvel. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least she can't be blamed for killing Captain Marvel the character because Marvel was already doing that.
Like this is the higher up for sure. Just they've taken a big turn. It's like a 180, and they've just changed it up. Like once Black Panther did well, they're like, oh, so now everybody wants this type of movie.
Even though they totally forgot that Black Panther was introduced in another movie.
Yeah.
See, that's what they're missing. Like they're jumping the gun on this.
Yep.
And there's no build up. Like all you got was the teaser and Infinity War.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard.
They really, really just needed to go with Black Widow
Yeah.
As soon as they realized that Wonder Woman was happening.
Yeah, I mean, even the Ant-Man movies, they're like really mediocre as well.
But I had fun. I didn't feel like I wasted money.
Like, yeah, like it's okay, but it's not like, especially Ant-Man and the Wasp, it was like just, I don't know, it felt kind of rushed, kind of jumbled.
I think what bothered me about Ant-Man and the Wasp,
like they've lost their direction.
One thing that bothered me,
there's nobody piloting this plane.
The one thing that bothered me about Ant-Man and Wasp is they gave the villain was an Iron Man villain. And they made it a whammon because you got to make everything a whammon.
Of course.
And because you can't have your new whammon superhero in the Wasp pop up and beat up guys. She's got to beat up another whammon.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was underwhelming after I was delightfully surprised by Ant-Man, by how much I liked the Ant-Man movie, even though I've never liked the character.
Yeah.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp was kind of disappointing.
See,
but it wasn't
but you can say
leaving the theater going, I can't believe I paid for that, like I did for too.
It was a situation, especially with Ant-Man, that they took a version of Ant-Man that not many people liked in the comics when he was Ant-Man and made it work. The
one I hated was Pym.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They skipped over Pym. They made him like the old school.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Hold on. You remember how they said in that one thing, Fury hasn't seen a superhero before? It's been established that Hank Pym was a fucking superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And worked for I believe worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So he should definitely know about it.
Version, yeah.
Yeah, so they should definitely, once again, nobody's keeping up with this bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah, because nobody cares about continuity. They just chuck it out the window when it's convenient.
And we talked about this some last night.
Dude, yeah.
I don't know if you heard, but did you hear about the whole, apparently there's been some stuff going around that Marvel was the one, apparently the Russos did not want Captain Marvel in Infinity War at all.
Well, I mean, I can see that just because it's too soon to bring somebody into something that you've been building up to
for 10 years.
Essentially for 10 years. Yeah. It would have to be good, really good. And obviously that seems like that's not the case.
I think what the Russos said, especially, from what I'm understanding, like I said, these are, kind of backlot rumors kind of thing, so you don't know if it's true or not, but not saying it ain't true either. But the idea was the Russos had is that they do Infinity War and Endgame, and that would be the end of the current generation that we have now. Then the next movies could start building the new generation, with the Captain Marvels and stuff like that.
Yeah, which that would be fine, because then they could have kind of a clean slate and then kind of...
You still have some of the established characters around, but at the same time, you're building new characters. They're the focus now, and the other ones are put to the background.
What the plan was, and now they're just kind of squeezing bullshit in here, and it's just
And the idea was they didn't want the studio said you put her in Infinity War, and they're like no, and so they they negotiated that she would be put in Endgame, and apparently, like I said, these are just rumors. I don't know if they're true or not. Doesn't surprise me if it isn't. That they're basically they filmed two different versions of scenes. And how Captain Marvel does at the box office will determine which version of Endgame we get.
I would like.
Well, Marvel said that they've done, different versions or different, takes on scenes before. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of the case here.
Mm-hmm.
But let's think about this. People have been thinking that Captain Marvel is going to be the big thing that beats Thanos. She's going to go binary and. That's going to fix everything somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So you've introduced a magical MacGuffin one movie before your ultimate showdown, and that's the answer to everything?
Which I find funny, because if you believe what the rumors of the spoilers are saying, that I'm not going to say how, but Carol gets immediately depowered 20 minutes into the movie.
Oh, they're going to Metroid her?
Yeah.
Eat shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, they already kind of did that with Hulk in the previous film, though.
Yeah.
That's just kind of retreading. at that point.
Well, it's like, but once again, you got to look at this. The Russos didn't want this character in their movie, so it's kind of like we're giving you what you want, but you might not like. I mean, I already had heard like this. This is kind of confirmed that the Russos said that she would be depowered for Endgame.
Yeah, otherwise, it'd be a really boring movie.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Basically, she's like,
but then
she's
what's
like an
the
X-Man
point though of having her in this, an Endgame?
Hello, my name is hello, Mrs. McGee, Miss McGee. My name is Bob Iger, and I need the whammons in my movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a mandate from heaven, as I like to call it. Somebody from on high said you need to do this, and like you said, there's no point to it. It would have been much better just from what you've already established, from from Iron Man 1 to now with, and all the other stuff in with Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, all this other stuff. That's, you've got Guardians of the Galaxy. That should be these are your main heroes. These are the ones that are going to fight the big bad. You don't need some Deus Ex Machina coming out of nowhere and, being the big spoiler, right? Stick with what you got. Go with what you know. Finish this stage. Then at the end of this movie, you set up the next stage. But no, we can't do that. We gotta insert. We gotta have a big, we gotta have the insert of girl power and feminism and all that good stuff.
Anyone else feels this way?
I also think the other issues, like they're kind of using these names, like Infinity War and stuff like that, and you kind of get like a certain, you kind of expect certain things when you hear this, because then you're thinking about the comics,
right,
and about that run or that graphic novel and whatnot. And so they're putting these expectations, out there, and then they give you something that's totally different, and they're changing it. And, some of it's because of, they don't have rights, or they didn't have the rights, but they're trying to substitute. They should just, take on a different name for these movies and not try to cash in, on the titles.
Somebody made a good point in a comment. I made a comment on something else, and they said, considering Black Panther was a huge hit, using Monica Rambeau instead of Carol Danvers would have probably been a better choice. Yes,
well,
it would still been.
They were thinking.
Yeah, it would have probably still been kind of shoehorned, but I think probably more people would have been accepting, And plus, with the way Monica Rambeau's set up, yeah, she's a powerful character, but she's not like, quote, the strongest character in the universe kind of thing, Hey,
I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I've been kind of thinking about this last day or so. With a big, huge push on seeing women are just as strong as men, they're no different, that's been going on recently, it almost feels like the whole strong, heroic woman just isn't special anymore. Like, it's just whatever.
They made it a trope, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's way overdone for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like I said, the only thing that could save Carol Danvers at this point is when Disney gets Fox and they just like have Rogue steal her powers and put her in a coma. Like,
yeah,
I think everybody.
Yeah, that'd be a welcome. Yeah. A welcome change.
Because I remember, I don't remember it, but I remember reading it, when I was young and like when it happened, and that was a big deal, because all of a sudden Rogue had all these powers and she was at the time a villain, so it became a very unpredictable thing and stuff. So, and then I said, well, that's a good idea. When they brought Carol back, after she didn't have her powers back, she got new kinds of powers and she became binary, right? So I never got the idea of the push to. Wanted to make her Captain Marvel and all that stuff. It's just marketing. That's all it is. It's just marketing. She was the main reason I was uninterested in this movie in the first place. Let's see. I really want to say that even just casting a more charismatic actress would have been a huge benefit. Yeah, I agree. And like I said earlier, people like tease about the whole smiling thing. It's like, but the thing is, and it's been mentioned before. I've heard Ethan Van Sciver mention it. Quite a few people now. the reason why we like our heroes to smile, and like Xavier said earlier, especially like when you watch manga and anime, like with All Might, from My Hero Academia, we want to see our heroes smile, not because they're jerks or anything like that. It's because when they smile, we feel comfort, right? If the city is getting destroyed and we see Superman show up and he's got a smile on his face, you think, okay, it's going to be okay. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that from Carol.
Well, it's just that, the actress that they've chosen, there's no charisma.
Nope.
Like, think about, Anthony Mackie, who plays the Falcon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has a screen presence. Like, his couple of scenes that you do see him in,
mm-hmm.
You feel like he's present and he's actually acting, and there's charisma. With her, it's just like there's nothing.
Somebody just said this feels more like a DC movie.
Okay, Captain Marvel is scenery. She's window dressing.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Yep, I like that. Like, yeah, Carol reassures nobody. That's
shoot. I had to get freaking rescued from a flooded house, by National Guard, and they were all smiles and especially with the younger people, they were pulling out of the houses, but
they were being very friendly and trying to be. It's like, hey, come on, everything's gonna be all right. Come on, kind of
very
thing.
lighthearted, kind of cracking a couple of jokes here and there, getting everybody feeling better because they're hauling you soaking wet out of a flooded house. You just lost all your stuff and putting you in the back of a big ass truck with a bunch of other people that are cold and wet and miserable. Yeah. And but the main thing I remember about that whole thing was the fact that they were all smiles and very nice and being lighthearted.
Yep.
Instead of being like, man, sucks to be you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to remind everybody at this time that Carol Danvers started the second Marvel Civil War because she wanted to throw Miles Morales in jail because he's probably going to commit a crime soon. I wonder if it's because he's black and she was white.
Oh. I didn't know that was like she thought that Miles Morales was going to commit a crime. or
there's a little.
I mean, I know they had the whole thing where it's like they had the Inhuman who could predict like things that would happen or something like that. And so it was basically like jailing people before they do crimes and shit like that. So
what's really bad is that they have sequels for events.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you have Civil War 2?
Like Civil War 1 like ended badly, but it was a decent story up until the ending, There was no need to do another one. So what was the thing with Miles?
Mm-hmm. The Inhuman had predicted that he was going to kill somebody, I think Captain America, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
It was him or somebody else. I can't remember who it was. And they were just going to throw him in jail right away because he might do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire thing was supposed to be a setup wherein this Inhuman could get like one thing right, but it was still mostly probability.
Yeah.
And some of those things he was predicting may not happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Tony's like, hey, we need to understand how his power works before we start using it to do shit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll put us in a bad place. And Carol said, no, fuck you. We're doing this thing. We need to be proactive and stop the shit before it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just started pre-criming everybody. And because they refused to turn over Miles Morales so that he could be punished for the crime of being black on a Saturday night.
Yellow Lantern says, I think it was because he wouldn't unmask.
And you know what this also makes me think of? Minority Report.
Yeah.
Somebody watched it for the first time. And
it's like, that would make a great superhero story.
Yeah.
To be fair, that kind of plot line has been used but in different levels in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it has.
There's what is that? Psychopaths.
Mm-hmm.
Basically same concept.
Let's see. Look
Psychopaths is
he was wrong. It's all saying
Psychopaths is a what?
Psychopaths is about it too.
Yeah, goddamn.
It's like Yellow Lantern says, it's sad that they modeled the movie Captain Marvel after the current Captain Marvel. The one is just an absolute jerk.
I think everybody's been feeling that.
Well, it's like I said, they modeled it after that, and they made it a character in the past where the character just recently became Captain Marvel. So they made an entirely different story, different origin, everything, for a character that nobody wanted to see on screen. But anyway, what time? How long have we been going? I mean, I don't know it's late, but yeah, we're at the right at the 2 hour mark. So it's probably a good idea to hang it up now. We thank everybody for joining us tonight. Once again, Crystal, thank you for joining us. I told you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Told you would have fun. The link to Crystal's Indiegogo, the Goodnight Nightmare Realm, is in the chat. Is in the description below. Go check it out. If you haven't purchased a copy yet, go ahead and do so, because you're getting close to wrapping it up, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll have it open till April 13th.
Okay, so April 13th, guys. If you want to get in, get in soon, because you got a little over a month to get into it. So
get your hoodies.
Get your hoodies. Hopefully my tax return will be here in time so I can get my money in on
it.
Yeah. So, but thank you guys for everybody for listening, and we will check you out tomorrow night. Hopefully, something other than Captain Marvel we'll talk about.
Right.
We'll see y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.